the Hot Toys Zombie Iron Man from Spider-Man Far From Home. Hello and welcome once again to Jacob's Toys. Please do like, share, subscribe and all of those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated. And in this video I have received a package from zombie.co.uk and I am very excited to see what's inside. And it's huge! Look at the size of this one. Zombie.co.uk. Well, they are a UK retailer and they specialise in statues and replicas as well as action figures. They've got a huge selection over on their website, so do go and check it out. And what's particularly cool about them is you can earn points as you shop to help pay off later purchases. If you go over there right now, you can use the code ZOMBIE for 10% off, which is just that little bit extra. Anyway, let's jump in to see what's in this box. Now, obviously this is a huge box, but just to show you, they don't just specialise in massive things. You can actually get stuff that's a little bit smaller as well. In here, I've got one of the Marvel Legends 3 3/4 inch figures. We've got the Hulk there. So you can pick up figures like this, as well as the big things like the statues and the hot toys and stuff. So without further ado, let's see what's in this box. We've got another box. And it says Hot Toys. Now, for anyone that's familiar with Hot Toys, you'll see the code on the front, MMS580. And you'll know exactly what that is. It is a 1/6 scale figure. And it's Spider-Man Far From Home. SMFFH. Spider-Man Far From Home. Let's have a look. I'm really excited about this one. This is a very cool thing. While I am opening him up, I've got to say a massive thank you to zombie.co.uk for sending this over. It's very much appreciated and I cannot wait to have a look at it, give it a full review and obviously try to snap some pictures with it as well. So do head over to zombie.co.uk and check out all of their figures, including this one. Let's take it out. Now, packaged up well. Let's see if I can pull this plastic off. Just to add to the reveal. Gonna put that in there. This is very cool. Very cool indeed. The Mysterio Iron Man illusion. So it is that section in the film where Mysterio obviously shows Spider-Man, shows Peter Parker, Tony Stark as a zombie, which is quite fitting considering this has come from zombie.co.uk. But it is, of course, Zombie Iron Man. Now, the thing I love about Hot Toys is the presentation, and the boxes are absolutely stunning. I have had quite a few Hot Toys in the past, but I do tend to kind of focus more on the 1/12 scale figures, but I think a change might be afoot. I think I might be going back more into the 1/6, but who knows, who knows. Anyway, without further ado, let's have a look. Here we go, here's the box, got a nice reflective, kind of looks like Mysterio's helmet, which is quite cool. And you've got Iron Man's head in the middle there, but if I take this out, you can see that the picture goes all the way across. And then take that down, put that down there, and let's have a closer look. So there we go, there's an illustration of the figure that we've got inside, and when we open the box, there he is. Look at that, that is absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. I mean, the boxing, the boxes, the packaging are it's just brilliant in itself. Now this obviously is an artist render, it's not actually a picture, it looks like a bit more of a painting, but that's very cool all the same. Very cool all the same. And then you've got that nice little window box where you can have a look. Now, what's really exciting about this one is that it does light up. Oh, we've got a little Mysterio there as well. That's pretty cool. But it does light up. And it does come with batteries. I can see the batteries are included as well. Now, you can get this figure as well as a whole bunch of other Hot Toys available at Zombie, over at zombie.uk. Zombie.co.uk even. I will put the link to their website in the description of this video. Let's carry on here for a minute because this is huge. This is absolutely huge. Oh. Wow. Let's just take that out and put that there. I mean, the boxes are massive, but they are worth keeping because these are decent action figures at the end of the day. Box comes apart. There's two parts to the box. You've got the first part that has, of course, the figure. You've got some effect pieces there as well. Alternate hands. You've got one of the little drones. But even looking at it now in the packaging, like it's really cool. You got like half his leg missing. You can see like his skull coming through the mask. There's all bits of his armor falling off. That is really cool. And on this part, you have a really huge base that's got the Tony Stark grave and the Mysterio kind of effect pieces as well. You've also got a stand, a clip, and like I said, you've got all the batteries that you need. And there's a lot of batteries that go into this, so let's have a look. Oh, and then on the back you've got some effect pieces as well. What's really cool is that you always get like a little instruction manual of how to assemble it. So let me get that out here. I'll have a quick look. There's the instruction manual. So yeah, I think without further ado, let's switch cameras and let's take a closer look at this very cool figure. Okay, so I've sped this up because at the end of the day you don't want to watch me open it in real time because that would take forever. But one thing I've got to say about Hot Toys is their packaging is absolutely superb. It really is second to none. They make sure that everything is locked away. Now we've got two alternate hands which are open palm hands. We've also got the little Mysterio drone, and it's got this little effect piece on the front, but you can't take that off by the looks of it. You've also got these translucent kind of effect pieces as well, because it's the Mysterio illusion. At the end of the day, it's not really Zombie Iron Man. You've got all of these pieces of plastic and foam that keep the figure absolutely in pristine condition when it's being shipped around. They really do think of everything, so everything is as it should be. And I must admit, looking at it in hand, it's even nicer than it looked in the box. The detail on Hot Toys is so good. It's just every inch of it is absolutely perfect, and it's always worth really checking that you've got all of the plastic off, because they do kind of get into all the nooks and crannies and everything like that. Now if you've not owned a Hot Toy before, do take your time taking this plastic off. Don't just kind of rip it and pull, because it's there for a reason, and you don't want to kind of pull bits off, especially on a model like this where bits are hanging off anyway. Just make sure that you're kind of cutting away bits that you need to cut away, and not just kind of brute force pulling. See that even under the kneecaps here there's little bits of foam. Now the figure itself is really nice. There's essentially, it is the Iron Man armor, but it's all kind of chewed up and zombified, and there's bits hanging off of it, there's bits on wires that are hanging off of it, and of course the skull is exposed, because in the film Far From Home it was only shown for a real split second. It was that part where Mysterio was creating an illusion for Peter Parker, and he was seeing all different things like multiple versions of himself and stuff, and one of the things was of course Tony Stark coming out of the grave, kind of reaching out to him. So I mean, and this looks pretty much as it did in the movie from what I can remember, but seeing the skull exposed, the detail on the skull and the way the mask is kind of just pulled away and burnt away from him. What's really nice as well is the fingers on these hands, the hands that are actually on the figure, are fully articulated, so you can have him in kind of all sorts of clawing positions. Also with him comes this huge base. Now this has got the gravestone. It's also got what looks to be like a footprint or something like that. You've got all these effect pieces that go around it, and of course you have a stand as well if you wish to use it. Now the stands are really good quality. They're really strong and pretty good for holding your figures up. You also get a whole bunch of batteries. Now, interestingly enough, the batteries are the ones to go in Iron Man. They are not the ones to go in the base. So if you want to light the base up, you are going to need 3 AAA batteries, which are pretty readily available. They're not expensive to buy. Most of us have a bunch of AAA batteries in the drawers anyway. So yeah, you're going to need 3 of those, and they just slot in the bottom like this. Absolutely no endorsement here for the battery branding. They were just the first ones that I picked up. So I'm just going to screw these in and see what we've got. Now there's 2 modes. There's flickering mode, and there's let's have a look. Is this flickering? Yeah, there you go. That's flickering mode. So that's pretty cool. And then there's just solid mode. So you turn it on and it just stays on that green kind of light. The only kind of complaint I think I would have about the base is that it would have been nice if they just had the headstone without the effect piece. So there's like blue blocks, the kind of cube blocking coming up into the gravestone, and it would have been nice to have just had that as a solid piece. But the detail is really cool. It looks like it did in the movie. Now this is definitely going to be the fiddly bit, putting all of these batteries into the Iron Man. Now the first one is in the head. The head comes off there. It's got a little screw in the head The actual part of the armour is magnetised, so it slips on and off. There's no kind of pulling or pushing a huge amount on that. And you just open up the top of the head and you put 3 of the smaller batteries in. Now, I'm not going to, I can't remember which ones they are, but you have enough batteries for Iron Man. So you have 3 that go into the head, you have 3 that go into the arm, and you have 3 that go into the back, and they're all different sizes, so you can't get them mixed up. So put him back on like that, and we'll just slide the plate bit back on in a sec. But let's have a look. The switch is here, so let's turn the switch on. That's not very bright. Maybe I've put the wrong ones in, but either way you get an idea. There's the eye, lights up the eye. So those batteries literally just light up the eye in the head. The next 3 batteries go into the back piece, so that's not magnetised, but it is just attached with 2 little pegs. That comes off really easy. There's no real kind of danger of breaking that if you're quite sensible. And again, use your screwdriver, get this back piece off, and these are 3 of the larger batteries, and they go in like so. Now, one of the things that I have said before about larger figures is articulation, but the articulation on this particular figure is really quite good. So where have we got articulation? Well, we have 2 points of articulation in each of the elbows. You've got wrist swivels, you've got articulation in the fingers. Like I said, you've got 2 points of articulation in each of the fingers. You've got shoulder articulation, and the shoulder pads are on like a little peg as well that's got articulation in it, so you can move that around. The head is articulated, the neck is articulated, and because the batteries in the head are separate to those in the body, you have 4 articulation there. You also have articulation in the hips. There's no there's no waist swivel, but there is a bit of a chest swivel, and you have 2 points of articulation in the knees, as well as a handful of bits of articulation in the ankles as well. So you can get him into some cool poses. You can't quite get him into the crawl pose that he has in the movie, which is a shame. It would have been nice maybe if the base was designed so that you could have him crawling out, because the only time we've seen this character is when he's kind of crawling out of the grave. But I'm really not going to complain about that, because overall, having him kind of displayed on the base, just kind of reaching out or something, is going to be superb. Now I'm just fitting these other batteries in here in the left forearm. So there's a little piece that just pulls off, the inside part of the forearm pulls off. It's just attached by a peg, and there's a little battery pack in there. Now the switches for all 3 of the lights are underneath the base plate, so if you're going to display it with the lights on, you are going to have to take 3 pieces off, switch 3 switches on, and then obviously have him fully lit up. That doesn't include the extra switch that there is in the base. I am going to have a look and see if they do the zombie Captain America from What If, because I think having the zombie Captain America next to this zombie Iron Man would be a really cool display. This is a much more detailed zombie than the zombie Iron Man we saw in What If, so it's definitely the one that I would use for that display. But there's just something very cool about seeing the armour all beaten up and destroyed, and underneath him there's, what's quite interesting is actually in the rib cage it's more metallic than it's more like robotic than it is human. The only kind of human bit you can see is the skull. The rest of it is almost like the Terminator. So it's not kind of gone down to the bone, although there is a rib cage kind of exposed in the chest area, but it looks metallic. It looks like almost like a Terminator under there, which is quite interesting. He's not very heavy either, I must say that. He's not as heavy as I thought he would be. He looks really heavy, but he's not actually as heavy as I thought. The detail really is good. I mean, even to the extent where in the arc reactor, the details in the arc reactor, it's not just like a light, it's actually an arc reactor in there, which is a nice little touch. Now these effect pieces are quite flimsy. They're like plastic from a plastic box, and you fold them up and you just attach them to the base using these stopper pieces. Now I suppose having these on help turn it into the Mysterio illusion a bit more. So then we've got a drone, we've got these kind of effect kind of wall pieces, and they marry up to the one that's on the gravestone. Now as I said, my main complaint is that the bit on the gravestone is a slightly different blue than the pieces that they've given you, so it doesn't match up completely. But yeah, I mean, I can get over that, because
When I look at it on camera, it doesn't actually look that different. Just in hand it does. But yeah, I'm really not going to complain. That is not anything to massively complain about. One thing people do say is Hot Toys carry a really high price tag, which they do, but I think the value that you're getting in the action figure is so much more than what you get in some of the kind of 6 and 7 inch figures. Now these effect pieces, in the instruction manual it does tell you where they go, but I'm going to spend a bit of time and actually find out where they go, instead of course just putting them on wherever I think, like so. But yeah, all in all, this is a really awesome action figure. The detail on it is absolutely superb. The light up functions is a really nice little touch. I'm really impressed with the articulated fingers. Going to be able to get him in some really gruesome pose. Going to do some action figure photography with him, I think, as well. But yeah, all in all, an absolutely superb piece from Sideshow Collectibles, of course Hot Toys. I'm hugely impressed, and I would definitely recommend.
Once again, a massive thank you to zombie.co.uk for sending me this over. He is absolutely awesome. He really is a cool figure indeed. And there's just so much detail in it. It is just a very awesome figure. And there's just something very cool about Zombie Iron Man. Even though he's from that cutscene in the movie, there's something just very cool about him. And yeah, I can't wait to get some pictures of him and find a decent place for him on my display. But yeah, he's a very cool figure indeed. Thank you very much, zombie.co.uk. It is very much appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and all of those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated. Here's some pictures I took.